Without further ado, let us say hello to the one and only Claressa Shields. Hello, Claressa. How are you?
Hey Ariel, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for doing this. And I know the fight is coming up. It's a big deal. We just had Terrence Crawford on, so we have the #1 male pound-for-pound boxer, and then you back-to-back. How about that? And you are #1 pound-for-pound, right? I mean, considering what happened
100%.
in Ireland, that's now your title.
I was #1 before that happened in Ireland, but okay.
I was setting you up for that. I just wanted to hear what you would say. You don't think there was any case to be made? You think it was just, there was nothing to be said. You were #1. What happened against, Chantel Cameron to Katie Taylor didn't affect your standing at all?
No, I don't really, not to be not humble, but I don't compare myself to these other women in boxing. I'm way ahead of them. I love Katie. I love a lot of the girls that box, Amanda Serrano and all of them, but I am #1.
I feel you. I understand. By the way, do you think that she made a critical mistake by moving up? Obviously, we know the result, but like when you heard the news that she was moving up, considering she was, undefeated towards the end of her career, when you heard that, were you like, that's a mistake? Especially with the homecoming too.
No, well, she's trying to keep up with the accomplishment that I have. So being 2-time undisputed champ is definitely something that she needs to do. Like it's record breaking. So it would have just been me and her that are 2-time undisputed. I'm 3-time undisputed, but only 2 weight classes. But she would have been 2-time undisputed also.
Right.
2 division undisputed, I guess. So no, I just think that she didn't deal with Chantel Cameron's power well, and she showed it. It's a difference between dealing with somebody's power and not showing it and showing it. So she kind of showed that her power bothered her. She got shook with some shots. But I think that Katie can come back in the rematch and win it.
You think she can win the rematch at 140?
Yeah. About 140. And I think that because she's like a computer. Once you get in the ring with her, she reads you, she learns you. I think that she know what she did wrong in that fight. And I don't think that she'll do it again. And one thing she did do wrong was on the ropes. Chantel Cameron threw some great body shots that was able to take a lot of gas out of Katie, but she shouldn't have got caught in the corner with the bigger fighter anyway.
Okay. So this is a big deal for you. June 3rd, homecoming, Little Caesars Arena in the heart of Detroit. That arena has been around for a couple of years. In fact, I went to a UFC event there back in, I think it was 2017, and I was blown away. It's a beautiful arena. They did an amazing job with it. Why did it take so long for you to fight there?
Well, this is the first boxing match that Little Caesars Arena has ever had.
Yeah.
So they're just now getting into the boxing business. I mean, I think I've been worthy of an opportunity of this magnitude for many, many years now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I just think that after beating Savannah Marshall, after being undisputed 3 different times, I think now that everyone in America sees that I sell tickets, that I'm one of the faces of boxing, and that I can bring big time boxing back to Detroit. So I think that it's the perfect time. And I could have wished for it sooner, but I feel like right now is the perfect time to do it. And women's boxing is booming, so why not be booming here in America?
Why do you think it's booming right now? I agree with you, but just curious from your perspective, why is women's boxing doing so well right now?
It's doing so well because the champions are fighting the champions. We are getting the fights that we want. Women are going across the pond, including myself, to make these big fights happen. The networks are finally getting on board. Now, I will say that it's getting better here in America because I'm fighting in front of 15,000 in Detroit, and women don't get these kind of opportunities. The only other women who have fought in front of that many people is Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. So now that we're past that, and I'm and the actual American is given a chance to African American is actually given a chance to be in those kind of venues. I feel like women's boxing is definitely on the up and up, and we're going to have more opportunities here in the U.S.
Do you feel like the pay is on the same level?
We all know that the pay is not on the same level, but I'm making some money for this fight.
You're happy with it?
And I'm making my last fight. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, it's going up for you?
Yeah, it's not going down. It's going up.
Good. Why? But by the way, why does it feel like Chris Cyborg was talking about this? Why does it feel like women's MMA fighters get paid more than women's boxers?
Maybe because some of them do. I can't say that for me.
Okay.
Few of the other women who are champions, like Kay Taylor, Amanda Serrano, even Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer. I can't say that for us, but I think the other women in boxing may not get paid as much as women MMA fighters yet.
Yes.
I think.
Do you think that we'll ever see a day that women's boxers are getting paid equally in terms of like the star power and where they are in the, respect, like as the male boxers?
I believe that I'll be one of them.
Okay.
It can happen for me, and it can happen for a few of the other girls, but it depends on how they build their brand and their stardom and how much access they give to the fans. I believe that all that matters. And I think that women fighters don't really understand yet. Well, I do, but how much access you have to give to fans in order to become that big household name, and stuff like that. Like it's really not all about, if you're just a great fighter.
Sure.
I think.
You have to sell a little bit too. You have to promote yourself.
Yeah. You have to sell a little bit. You got to wear nice hair, the nice outfits. You got to trash talk. You have to let them into your life to see how they can relate to you. People that some people may like you, some may not, but you're doing something to get their attention. And I think that women's boxing for a long time, especially when I turned pro, trash talk was forbidden. Huh. They didn't want women boxers to trash talk. They didn't want us to sell our fights. And I got, ridiculed and chastised a lot at the beginning of my career. And I had to tell the people who were doing those things to me that, look, if you guys want me on your promotion, if you guys want me to be a world champion and be under your stable, this is how it's going to be done. I'm not doing it like the other women did it before. Like they want you to just be pretty all the time and be nice all the time. And it's like, I'm a fucking beast. Why am I going to do that? No, I don't like my opponents. I want to fight them. I want to say mean things to them. I want to get inside their head and mess with them. So when I started doing that, it seemed like my stock and everything about me went up. But they didn't. I don't know if they actually were just trying to keep us from that, or if they were just saying, or if they were just used to women not being outspoken.
I feel you. No, I understand where you're coming from. I don't like, we don't really know each other. We're not friends per se, but I feel like sometimes I want to reach out to you and be like, Claressa, stop replying to the trolls on Twitter. Why are you getting into battles with these guys? Why do you do that? Why do you give them that oxygen? Your mind is not a hotel room. Why do you let them check in and out of your brain like that? I was told that by someone and it stuck with me. Why do you do this? Why do you engage with them on the level in which you engage?
Well, sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it helps me knowing that they said something mean to me and I said something mean to them. Now, some people don't deserve a response. You're 100% correct. But I'm human like everybody else, and I train 3-4 times a day. So when I'm done training, I get on my phone. And so if I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling and I see some outrageous stuff, especially one coming at me, sometimes the bite back is needed, and those guys delete whatever that they said, or they apologize, or they try to go back and forth. But I only respond once. I just kind of give you the kicker, and then I leave you be. But sometimes it's just fun to me too. Sometimes, I hate to say it, but I'll be laughing at some of the shit that I say. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it could affect you, right? It could affect your training. It could be on your mind.
What?
No? Okay. All right.
Absolutely not.
You're able to block it out.
Ariel, if you knew me for real,
yeah,
you would know that it's a lot of things in life that do not bother me. I've had a really rough upbringing. I have had worse things done to me to let a tweet or someone's comment disrupt my brain.
Okay.
Or to this person said this and they text that, or it was a stranger who said this. When I respond, I use social media like everybody else use social media. I just respond and continue on with my life, but I don't let nothing mess with me up here. That's just not logical.
You do.
There's no way I could be a world champ and do
That's
that.
fair. That's fair. And that's the
No
difference between someone like you, superhuman, and just a regular person like me. I saw an interview that you did for DAZN that was on their YouTube channel talking about your upbringing, and it is heartbreaking to hear the things that you have had to overcome and endure and be faced with. And so I'm just wondering if you feel like that in a way almost developed this personality that we see here. Like you call yourself a little bit cold-hearted and tough and mean and all this stuff. Like if you didn't go through all that and come out on the other side successful, maybe we're not talking to this type of person here. Do you know what I'm saying?
if I hadn't found boxing and then on top of that built the relationship with God, my upbringing would have 100% destroyed me. And I am not afraid to say that. I say that to let people know that boxing did save my life. Boxing is why I got baptized and why I decided to start church and have a relationship with God. So um my upbringing was not the best, but it definitely made me have more grit and know how to protect my mind and my mental. Knowing that I'm not in this fight in my life. I'm not alone. I always have God there next to me. And that's how I've been able to cope with um my upbringing. Even at the time, I believe I got baptized when I was 13. And and I was having a rough time. I was going through, we weren't eating, my mom was abusing alcohol, my dad in and out of jail. I didn't meet him until I was 9 when I got out of prison. I had been raped at a young age. I was just really mad, very angry, and always confused. Like, why me? And then why us? Because I had siblings who had to go through the whole not eating thing with me and deal with our mom, abusing alcohol and stuff. So it's a Bible verse, and it's Jeremiah 29:11. For I, God, know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope in the future, give you hope in a better future. So even though I was going through all those bad things, once I heard that, it was just like, this is just bad now. It's going to get better. And I didn't really know what better was, but I just knew, I just had the faith in my heart and just the belief that God would make things better for me and my family. And that's how I made it through. And I had to keep some of that grit because I need it for boxing and I need it for my fights and everything. I needed to train. But I'll never forget where I come from. And that's why I help the younger kids who I know are going through similar situations like myself, because it was hard to make it out, but I think I just make it look good.
It really is incredible. You mentioned you were raped when you were 5, right? Like I can't even
Yeah.
imagine you being as successful as you are, let alone surviving all the things that you survived. You know what I mean? Like 2 Olympic golds, greatest of all time, undisputed champ. Just having a normal life would be a great thing. You had a normal life times 10 after experience. Like it actually amazes me that it didn't break you, that it didn't put you down a different path. Says a lot about you. So I just want to tip my cap to you because your story is truly unbelievable. Like you hear it and you don't believe it. Like in the literal sense of the word, unbelievable.
I believe that people do believe it because I'm just a different kind of woman. And now they understand why. That's why, because of my upbringing and things that I've had to overcome. So when you see me speaking about how I believe in myself, if I didn't believe in myself, then, who would?
And you had to fight. You said you were fighting off your mom's boyfriends and things like as a young girl. You had to fight them, legit fight them, grown men.
Plenty of times. And now I grew up in a household where it was 4 of us. I have an older brother, 4 years older than me. I have a younger sister, a year and a half younger than me, and a younger brother, who's 3 years younger than me. When my older brother went to prison, I was the head of the house. I was the protector. So big bro not there to handle this stuff no more. So I had to step up and I had to do it. And thank God that I knew how to box and I knew how to fight, to where I was able to fight these men off my mom, fight her with these men. And it's not something that I'm proud of, but I had to protect my family, and I protect them now. And It's gonna forever be that way. It's gonna forever be that way. And I don't that's why the whole men beat up women thing, it never really meant nothing to me. You know, I'm like, I don't, yeah, we got different genetics, but I've been in the gym sparring against men and fighting men my whole life. So sometimes those things just kind of are non-existent to me. And I just continue to do my job as a woman fighter. But um I've been through way more than what. If people would have put themselves in my shoes, they'd be dead or in prison somewhere right now.
Were you ever close to going down, like really going down the wrong path? Did you ever feel like you were super close to doing that?
When you say down the wrong path, um, something that I always apologize to God about is trying to commit suicide when I was 13. I just was going through a lot and having to deal with what I dealt with. And at the age of 13, it just got, well, actually 13, I tried to commit suicide. And then 16, I had to get talked out of it right before the Olympics. So I always apologize to God about those thoughts of just not wanting to deal with life no more. And I always just be grateful that He gave me the strength, you know, to just keep going because when you go through stuff like that, you just think like, you know what, don't nobody care about me, don't nobody love me, and I just rather not be here. So I'm happy that, you know, God put people in my life who would just, you know, who looked after me, you know, and gave me the right word. And I believed in Him enough to where I didn't do those things, because seeing where I am now, if I would have, you know, killed myself when I was 13, or if I would have went through with it when I was 16, then, you know, it wouldn't be not even one Olympic gold medal. I'd just be a junior Olympic gold medalist where I won it twice. But I'm just super grateful for what God has done, you know, just for my life.
Do you ever
I'm
have
really
those thoughts
grateful.
again? Do they ever creep up again?
You know, depression is real, but I have found a way to deal with it, to deal with all of it. You can be depressed being broke and going through stuff and not being able to eat. You can be depressed when you're rich and you got all this money and got to take care of your family. There is no status for depression, you know, and I still deal with it off and on, but I feel like I have conquered depression within the last year or so. And I feel like I don't be having those thoughts no more.
Can I ask, how did you conquer it?
I conquered it by one acknowledging it, you know, and some people are just very, very sad and don't know what to do. But also, too, I just started excluding people from my life who made me feel any other way but happy. And sometimes that's hard to do. It is very hard, you know, because it comes with family, friends, relationships, all that stuff. So for me, I just had to, if something does not make me feel good or someone says something to me that does not make me feel right, I have to exclude it. And that includes social media too. You know what I mean? Like I have to take breaks from social media sometimes, because it's like, not that that stuff can make me want to commit suicide, but it makes me sad or it can hit a nerve sometimes. So I have to really, um, you know, block those things out. But I'm just really a person like to keep my circle tight and only be surrounded by love.
And I appreciate you talking about this. I really do, and
Mhm.
and I think it's incredible to hear someone of your stature talk about this, and I think it's very helpful for people as well. And I won't keep you too much longer, but this is, you know, incredible stuff that you're sharing with us. You were supposed to fight Hannah Gabriel's on this card. She had to withdraw because she tested positive, right, from VADA. Your reaction when you heard that news, because it's such a big deal for you, right? This was your big homecoming fight at Little Caesars, historic. Never before has there been a boxing event. Did you think that the whole event was going to come crumbling down when you heard of her positive result?
Well, I just want to say thank you to my team, because they didn't let me know till 4 days after they found the result. I
Wow.
was training. I was eating very healthy. I didn't know anything. I just knew it was very abnormal not to hear from my manager, Mark Taffin, for 3 days. That's all I knew. And then when he called and he called, he said, Claressa. And I said, oh my God, what's wrong? And he was like, you can hear it in my voice, can't you? I said, yeah. And then he told me, and I said, okay, so now what? It wasn't really, it was more like, all right, I'm not a person who's going to dwell on that. The most important thing to me is actually fighting and experience and having this experience at Little Caesar. So what now? And he said, but we've been on it for the last 3-4 days. We have Maricela Cornejo signed for the fight, and she's ready to come here. And she said she's gonna take your belts. And I said, great. And when I thought about it, I was thinking like, we already before we had the fight scheduled with Gabriel's, we already had reached out to Maricela about fighting, and it's actually been a couple times now, and we weren't able to get her for the fight. But this time, she said yes. So I didn't really have to deal with that. But my first thought was, of course, during our first fight, I was 6-0. I had 2 belts, but I had never. Women boxing didn't really get to the point to where it was using VADA. I started using VADA when I faced against Christina Hammer for Undisputed Championship. After that, all my fights I've had VADA when it was involved in my Undisputed Championships. And I started doing VADA because Christina Hammer was just too confident. Like, confidence is okay, but the way she was talking was like, I don't know. It just was like, why she keep saying she's stronger than me? And I can look at her and tell she's not. So I just like, let's get VADA done because she's all the way in Germany and I'm here in America, and let's just keep it clean. And the men do VADA, so why not? But first thought was when I heard it was okay, me and Gabriel didn't have tests in the first fight. And to me, that explains to how she knocked me down. To me, that's my first thought I had. I said, that answers the question on how she knocked me down and why she felt so strong our first fight. And what people don't know is that her first sample came back. Of course, it was dirty. But then her second sample came back, I guess, from her rubbing her dog, and it was a week later. She had 4 times the amount of whatever the banned substance was in her system. So it's like, what'd you do? Rub your dog 4 times more than what you was rubbing him the
That was
first
the
day?
excuse? The excuse was rubbing her dog?
She said she was putting some cream on her dog's C-section.
Oh, come on.
And I still haven't seen the picture of the dog or the puppies. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, all right.
That's all I'm saying. So it's really not it's like, I don't want to just say that she's a drug cheat, but the tests were there and the numbers were not right of the things in her system. And then for them to be 4 times more on the second test, I don't know what else I'm supposed to think.
Do you think drugs are a big part, PEDs are a big part of women's boxing? Do you think it's a big problem?
I can't really say because I don't know. I just say that I think that if these girls who are world champions and they believe in fair sport, everybody should sign up for VADA. It shouldn't even be a question. If there's belt on the line, big money on the line, TV network, it should be VADA testing. That's all I know.
2 last things. There's another great Michigan boxer coming up, women's boxer coming up. She's not really coming up. She's here, Alicia Baumgartner. What do you think of what she's been doing?
Alicia Baumgartner has earned my respect. And I say that humbly because I thought that Michaela Mayer was going to be her. And I even told her that. Huh. And she told me to my face, she said, I'm going to make you a believer. And I just shook my head and said, okay. And then when she won, I had to give her props. I still love Michaela the same, but Alicia Baumgartner has really upped her game. She's serious about her craft now. And I can just see it in her every time I see her. I actually seen her yesterday at the gym training, and she's locked in. She's ready to get that W back from Christina, the girl that beat her. She's locked in. She's ready to defend her Undisputed Championship July 15th. And I'm just so proud of her, and I'm happy that, that I can help pave the way for her, because soon she'll be up where I'm at fighting at Little Caesars.
One of the many reasons why I have an immense amount of respect for you is because you are at the very top of your game and you decided to go and do something that is new to you, and that's MMA. A lot of people, actually no one in your position on the male side of things would ever even consider doing something like that, and you did it, and you did it a couple times. Do you regret doing MMA, especially considering how the second fight went?
I I don't regret doing MMA. I'm 1-1. I lost a fight, a split decision. It could have went either way against an opponent who had been doing MMA her whole life. So for the fact that I was doing MMA only a year, trying to learn the ground game and trying to learn some wrestling and add it to my boxing, and then to lose a split, like I didn't get knocked out, I didn't get armbar, I didn't get submitted, I just lost a split decision. I'm not I don't regret it at all. It actually made me a better fighter. It showed me that what I already knew. I can do whatever I put my mind to. I beat a girl that was a brown belt and had been doing MMA for 13 years. I went in there and I was able to beat her. So I just know that I'm dangerous, whether it's in a boxing ring or it's in a cage.
Will you do it again?
I would like to do MMA again. We are in talks with PFL now to try to see like what the plan is, but I would like to be given the right amount of time to train and to learn the craft of MMA, to have me a solid team behind me, because I've just been winging it.
Right.
Like, I went to Jackson Wink and I trained with them, and there was a great team. I did a lot of jiu-jitsu training, a lot of wrestling. But it just was like, you get a 30-minute session, a 45-minute session, you don't really get like the full, like I go to the gym and I don't train less than 3 hours for boxing. And I've been doing boxing for 17 years. So it's like, I feel like in MMA, I want to have that same kind of routine in order for me to just learn those arts, because I'm far behind the other girls, but my boxing gives me a little lift. But if I can't be on my feet, then, we have to figure something else. So I just want to learn those arts to where it can give me a better chance at winning. I'm not afraid to do MMA. I've already done it. I like to win.
Sure.
I like to win fights. So in MMA, I would like to be given a fair chance to actually have know enough MMA, know enough wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, to actually know those things to where when I get into these fights and these girls take me down, it's still a fight. So I want to do it again. I just have to, like I said, get these ducks in a row and get stuff figured out.
And PFL doing big things as of late, so I feel like it would be even bigger if you return. By the way, more likely to happen next, you in WWE or you in PFL?
What's to happen next, you think?
Yeah, what's more likely?
Both.
Both at the same time? Are you talking to WWE?
Yep. What do you know?
I don't know. Are you?
We are. It's some things happening.
There's things happening?
You have to just wait. You have to wait. Ariel, I can't tell you everything.
Well, I'm clued in on that world, but I know there's a big show coming up in Detroit in August 5th. It's called SummerSlam. Feels like you would be a shoo-in for that. I know nothing, by the way. I'm just trying to put two and two together here.
Listen, I believe that the stars are aligning for me,
wow.
And I'll be doing things that people have never seen another African-American woman do in boxing.
I love it. Well, you go. We'll leave it at that. Next for you, of course, is this Saturday, June 3rd, on DAZN, your big homecoming, your big return, and your first fight at Little Caesars Arena, which is a fantastic venue, you versus Maricela Corneo. It didn't matter the opponent. This was all about you. Everyone knew that. So I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck to you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being so open. Thanks for being so great. Thank you, Claressa.
For sure. Thank you, Ariel.
All right, there she is, the great Claressa Shields.